Good morning, LinkedIn Live. We are live. Happy Friday, everyone. If you're watching live, please say good morning in the comments if you are watching. I know it's a bank holiday, right, Tinique? So some people might be off already, logged off, gone. Right. But we're here. Good morning, Tinique. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine, actually. Really, really good. I'm happy
And
it's Friday.
Yeah, and you were saying just before we started, you were saying it's Carnival weekend as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, even though I've already had enough of Carnival in Grenada for 3 weeks, but I was like, you know what? I'm a Carnival head, so I've always been to Notting Hill Carnival ever since I was little when I was 5.
Really?
So, yeah.
So like every year you've got to be there, Carnival.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, apart from lockdown when we couldn't, but as soon as it was over, the first one back, I was.
Do you know what that shouldn't surprise me, because obviously I feel like events is kind of almost like in your bones, and we're going to get
exactly into it. It's true. Thinking about since I was 5, I've been like little Carnival concerts, so it's just in me, I guess.
yeah. And for anybody that's watching that's not from the UK, Notting Hill Carnival obviously is like it's like a big deal really for this country. It has been for a long time. I can't remember what year it started. I don't know if you remember.
In the 80s, definitely in the 80s.
I
up on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, about when it started. Yeah, it did start back in the 80s, I think.
Amazing. Yeah, so it's Carnival weekend. I'm going to cross my fingers and send up a little prayer for good weather for you for the weekend, because, as is typical with the bank holiday weekend in the UK, it's looking like it might rain.
That just adds to the experience of Carnival. So some people like when it rains anyway, because we're still going to enjoy ourselves. So it doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know what? I've only been to Carnival once. Can you believe?
I think you told me that. Yeah.
Carnival. Yeah, Carnival one. The thing that kind of stuck in my mind as a memory for Carnival was the police that are like dancing away with the music. Yeah, dancing away, and also the way that some of the girls dance
on them. I know,
with the police. That's interesting. You kind of, it's like an adult show that is just for those that be. If you know, you know. Okay, cool. So, Tinique, welcome. If anybody hasn't kind of clocked what we're going to be talking about today, it's all about events and event planning. So, we met a little while ago. I was introduced through a mutual kind of business contact of ours, the amazing Katrina, I think it was, introduced us. And so we're going to be talking about events. And for those that don't know, Tinique is our event planner for the ERG Leader Summit. So for the summit in London, 12th of September, for network leaders and DEI specialists. And there'll be some DEI experts in the room as well that kind of are experts in different areas. We're going to be getting together in Paddington in London on the 12th of September. And Tinique is the event planner. So this almost feels like the weekly meeting that we have where Tinique is cracking the whip and asking me, Cheryl, have you done this? Right. But we've almost reversed the role. So Tinique is in the hot seat this morning, and I'm going to be asking Tinique the question. So your background, Tinique, so you've been in events all along. See, and you studied events at uni, right? So you did a degree in event management. And if anybody looks through Tinique's bio on LinkedIn, you've been involved in some really interesting things. So a little bit of stuff in terms of like London Fashion Week and some other things. Tell me about, where did it start? So there's maybe it was Carnival, because what gave you the bug for events? What gave you the bug for it?
It's weird because I initially wanted to become a chef, a Caribbean chef. I know, so that's right. So I loved cooking. And so when I was little, I always used to be in my granny's kitchen, watching her cook roti, jerk chicken, a traditional dish in Grenada called oil down. So I always used to be in the kitchen. I was like, I want to become a chef, and I loved cooking. So I initially wanted to become a chef. But then I thought, no, this is just going to be a hobby, because I did a work experience at the Green Park Lane Hotel. And weeks, and I was like, I can't do this. I was in the basement. I had to put a hairnet on. I couldn't do my nails. I was like, I can't do this. I'm a girly girl, so I'm just like, I can't do this. I was like, let me just have cooking as my hobby. I was like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I said, I like maths. So I was like, let me just be an accountant. I know. So I was like, I know, that just went from chef to accountancy. I was like maths. So let me just be an accountant. So I was going to do accountancy at uni. So I thought, let me just go and do accountancy. So I went with my mum on the opening day at the University of Hertfordshire. And we went to the accountancy course, and we sat in, and the lecturer was talking about the course. And I was like, I can't do this. So within 5 minutes, I was sleeping. I was like, Mum, I can't do this. And I was like, I know. I slept at the back of the lecture hall. I was like, I can't do this. And me and my mum snuck out. I was like, Mum, what else can I do? What else can I do? So I opened the booklet, and then I saw events management degree. And I was like, events management? And I used to plan events for my friends and family. So I thought, oh, this aligns quite well with what I love doing and my skill set. Right. Let me just check it out, because I never knew events management degree existed. I knew like PR, relations, but not events management. So I went in. And then, I never looked back. I just was captivated about what the content involves in terms of event management and the aftermath of it. After I finished my degree, what else I can do? I can plan events for amazing clients such as yourself. So I thought, oh my God, I love this. I never looked back. So I started in 2010 and I graduated in 2014. And throughout my year at uni, I took a year out. And I did a placement year at a fashion company because I wanted to get into fashion events. Right. But then I thought, should I do that? I don't know. So I was dipping my foot into different areas of events when I was in. And then when I left, I graduated with a first class degree in events management. And then I went into the venue side of events. So in other words, I'll be in venues, and then people will come to me with an inquiry, and then I will take the inquiry from start to finish. So I'll be in-house in venues. Yeah. So I started there. And then I left. So I was there for about 5-6 years in 2 different venues. And then I officially left in 2022 on my 30th birthday to go all in on my business. So I've been in quite a long time, and it just fell into my lap, I guess. But I love planning events because I did it for friends and family, and it just aligned. And I'm so blessed to do what I actually love. I love doing what I love. It's a bonus that I get paid for what I do. Because my dad used to come home every day when I was little and say, oh, I've got to go work. And I used to think, I was 7 years old, I used to think, why would you pick something that you don't like? I don't understand. So I'm just fortunate to love what I do. I actually love events.
That's amazing. And you know what, listening to your story, so the fact that you considered becoming an accountant, so obviously I trained as an accountant, the fact that makes so much sense, because your love of spreadsheets is a little bit like mine. And it's one of the reasons that I thought, Tinique is the right person, because she loves the detail in these spreadsheets, which anybody that's running events, especially when there are lots of moving parts, you need to get into the detail, because if you don't, something slips, right? But also something that you said as well, the fact that you started in venues, that makes so much sense, because the breadth of kind of almost like the event that I see that you have, I don't see, not all event planners think like that, so the fact that you do think about the AV and the tech and the setup and all of that stuff. And do you know what I mean?
That's what I love, the fact that I started in venues, because that's the area that I love as well. Is that when I get an inquiry from my client, I know exactly the questions I need to ask. When we go on site visits, I know what to look out for. I know the negotiation stage. I just know the step by step and how people think when they're in the venue aspects of planning an event. So I love that part, that I'm happy that I started in venue side, because I can bring that skills that I've learned from 5-6 years into planning events for my client.
Definitely. I mean, one of the things that stuck with me from working with you, and I remember it was either in our first or second conversation, but one of the things that you asked me, and I've written it down, you sort of said, what's the purpose of this? What are you trying to achieve? And I was like, and it's not that I hadn't necessarily thought about it, but I hadn't articulated it. And actually, you asking me that question and then me thinking about it, I really, it actually really became a core part of when I was then explaining the event to other people. It's like where I would start and finish. I would almost start and finish with that purpose of the event, because it's so important. I think sometimes a lot of people go into, I want to do an event, or I want to communicate something, I want to do something, and they're not clear on why they're doing it. So the fact that you started there, I was like, this is the right person.
I think it's really important to start off with the main purpose. That's why I always start off with a strategy session with my clients, because you have to think of what is the main purpose. There's no point putting an event for event's sake. You need to find out what the purpose is, and that needs to align with your target audience. Okay, this is the purpose, and this is the reason why I want to do it. And from there, that can help you structure the whole aspect of your event. And always go back to your main purpose of why you want to put on that event and what is the outcomes, so that you can measure an investment.
Because if you're clear about the purpose, it also helps when you come to like decision. You know, if you've got to make a decision about something, you can almost you think back to, well, what am I trying to achieve? Exactly, and then that can send you in sort of different directions. What's been your favorite event that you've been involved in or that you planned? Your favorite ever event that you can share with us?
I think my favorite event was supporting Coco Girl magazine.
Okay.
That was an amazing event. We did exclusive hire at Epsom Down Racing Course. And there was about 30 to 40 small Black-owned businesses exhibiting their work. And then we had shows going on. It was like a kids festival.
Nice.
Lots of moving elements, but I just loved the whole community aspect of the event. How we brought all the community together, all families together, all small businesses, and we're just supporting small businesses. And the concept of Coco Girl magazine itself, I absolutely love it, and I'm all for it. So that was one of my favorite. I love big brand activation events because there's a lot of moving elements, and that's where my logistical head comes in.
Brand activation. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was what they were called. Brand activation events. So things like product launches or rebranding.
So my dream event.
Come on, let's manifest it now. Let's manifest it.
My dream event plan is, I like fitness. I'm very much into fitness, so that's one of my self-care. I love going to gym 3 to 4 times a week. So my dream event would be doing a brand activation event for either Nike, Adidas, any of those top sports brands.
You didn't mention Gymshark.
Oh yeah, Gymshark. No, it's true. I should say Gymshark, isn't it? Yeah,
Gymshark. Ben or Elf. Well, Elf is no longer there, but Ben Francis, if you're listening, you need Tinique wants to come and help you on your next brand activation.
Brand activation event where there's so many different fitness aspects going on, from healthcare and workshops, Soco aerobics. So that's my vision. I love that. To bring my passion of brand activations, my passion of events, and my passion for fitness. That is one of my dream events.
Okay, so brand activation with a major fitness or sports brand. You heard it here first, right? Tinique is putting it out there. If anybody's watching this, they can drop in the comments and tag Ben Francis in the comments. And one of the other things that we've talked about, and one of the reasons that I wanted to do this session, obviously, is you kind of advising maybe like in-house professionals or people like employee network leaders, or people that are in-house doing events, kind of giving them tips and making sure that they don't make sort of those common mistakes. So talk to me a little bit about that. What are you thinking of in that space? Are you thinking about like doing a course, or, going in-house to support people? What's that going to look like for you?
I visualize going in-house, going into people's offices, and mainly targeting PAs and EAs, because I know that sometimes they get bombarded with tasks of planning team meetings, team away days, Christmas parties, just in-house conference and meetings, and that's not their area of expertise. So for me, I want to step in and give them top tips and advice of how best can they really leverage the budget that they have. Sometimes they're working on a low budget, and what can they do to really elevate the meeting or event to the next level and take away the stress from them, because they might feel overwhelmed and feel pressurized to deliver an event that, like I said, is not in their area of expertise. But I want to step in and say, this is how I can help you. This is the structure. These are the templates. I've got so many templates that they can use, as well as my directory. I've got so much directory, and one thing that you can really reduce your cost and stay within budget is having a good directory of suppliers who you can negotiate and who you can build a relationship with, and who can be able to provide you with the best quote possible based on your budget. So that's some of the things I love to go in and help them with: negotiation skills, planning, and really provide them with a foundation of where they need to start from start to finish. So maybe start with the strategy, like I said, what's the main purpose, and work within your budget, and we can go from there. I would say going in and supporting them with training, with planning the event on the low budget.
Okay, cool. So supporting like EAs, PAs. The other people that I see often get dragged into organized events is comms, like the comms teams often get dragged in.
Yeah, I see that a lot as well. The comms and marketing teams, which I love to target as well, because once again, that's not their area of expertise, but people think that because they're in the comms and marketing, they can take on events. But for me, I mostly go into corporate organizations and take the stress away from the marketing and comms team, where Hay Events will step in and do the event side, and the comms and marketing team can focus on their expertise, which is driving people to the event.
Absolutely. And the thing that I would say, you know, having been on, so when I was in corporate, and, you know, running transformation programs and things like that, often we would do events. We would do like maybe like say a road show or something, you know, because you're trying to like get the messages across, almost like a mini conference kind of thing. And often either somebody in comms or marketing was supporting that event. And as good as they were, and they were good, but they didn't have anywhere near the level of event depth of experience or the directory that you've got. Do you know what I mean? In terms of you know, that little black book of suppliers and people that can support. And as you say, in terms of from a budget perspective, you know, knowing based on your budget, you know, okay, well, here is the choice of suppliers that you could work with. And also the time saving. I mean, this is one of the things that, you know, as we've been working on like the ERG Leader Summit, a lot of these things, I mean, you've saved me a lot of time, kind of, you know, running, chasing, liaising with the venue, all of that sort of thing. It's just like, there's no way I could have done it without somebody else doing that legwork. Absolutely not. Do you know what I mean? And I think companies sometimes don't think of that, the time, if they ask, you know, an EA or a PA or somebody comms to do it, those people have got a day job as well, you know, looking after somebody's diary or whatever. And then they're then giving them this big event to plan and all of the time that takes. So yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about getting some help with those events for sure. What are some of your top tips for events on a budget? Because especially when it comes to the employee resource group and any of those leaders listening, a lot of them are like, literally this year, a lot of them are like, we have got zero budget, like we have no budget. So what are some of your top tips for when you're working with a very small budget, or just ideas around very sort of low budget events that that people could do for themselves? So tips or types of events.
Yeah, I'll say definitely reach out to me to support you with working on a low budget to help you, because an event manager can really help you really get that cost down. Another thing is reaching out to your network. Network is key, because some of your network might have connections in suppliers or connections where people can support you with the marketing or any of the merchandise, and also reaching out to sponsors as well. So it's a really good thing to get sponsors and partnerships on board, because they can support you with the merch. They can provide you with resources that can help you lower the cost of your event. And also think about sustainability. How can you cut down on things that you don't really need? Such as delegate badges. There's an option where you can do digital ones as well. Or there's another thing where you can do print on demand. You can get things you can print on demand. Instead of printing all the delegate badges out, let's print on demand, because you're saving time and efficiency and cost on printing so many badges that some of them might not turn up. So you can do on demand. And sustainability, what can you do to cut back on the food wastage? Let's look at, when you go to catering side, talk to your caterers and think, what can we do for more cost effective options? How can we reduce it? What are the things that we can do to just reduce the amount of time and resources put in? So I think definitely tapping into your network, getting an event manager on board, and really evaluating what is the priorities. Look at your budget. What do we actually need for this event? What can we what can we don't really need this, but these are the main priorities. And once you can list that, okay, this is how much we want to spend on this. That's what I would say. Tap into your network, get an event manager, and really step back and think, what are your priorities of this event, and what is the must have, and then you go from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so many really good tips there. I think definitely about like using your network, and I think especially for like employee resource group leaders, and that's part of the reason that I want to bring those individuals together actually, is because the more connections they make with each other, that means the more of a network they've got to potentially get somebody to come in and speak for free at an event, right? Because they can just reach out to another company that's got a network and say, actually, you know, do you want to come and speak at our company and we can reciprocate, right? And that brings the cost down because they're not having to bring in external speakers or just doing events at somebody else's office or each other's offices. Do you know what I mean? So definitely that using your network. And the other thing, you said about, the benefits of having an event planner. You've brought some ideas to us that we would have never thought of because we haven't done or seen as many events as you, right? So, so one of the things in particular that you brought was, the thing about allowing time for reflection in the day, which you'd seen, and everybody that we've mentioned to is like, that's such a cool idea. You don't see that at enough conferences. I
just feel like it's back to back. Like this is next. The next section, but us as attendees, we need to reflect on what we've learned. We need to take in what did you learn, and it's good to interact with the audience after each session. So what did you take? Well, not even each session, before each break. What did you learn? What did you take away? And not only that, it helps you with the marketing aspect of it because you can repurpose that. So you can use that for your next event because people are actually telling you what they've learned, what they've taken from that panel discussion. And that is really. I think that adds to the level of experience for attendees. They can think, oh yeah,
absolutely.
They're reflecting each and every time they take a break. Not if they go home. They're reflecting now. They're looking at their notes that they have. This is what I've learned. This is what I've gained. And they're going to remember that because I've remembered that.
Definitely.
Each and every time that I've done an event for my client, in particular, one of them, that's what happened. And everyone was, oh my God, this is amazing. So I think everyone should.
Definitely, because it's more likely to, the information is more likely to sink in. But some of those kinds of ideas are, that's what your event manager can bring to you. Is because they've seen so many, everything you can imagine. They've probably seen it right and done it. So, which again is the benefit of having an experienced event manager as well. I think. I want to talk a little bit about delegating because I know you work with the teams. You've got your own team that support you on the day, and one of them I've met on a call. So your team supports you. So something that employee resource group leaders are often doing is when it's working well, they don't do everything themselves. When it's not working so well, they are doing everything themselves. But often they've maybe got 2 or 3 other people that on top of their day job as well, they're all volunteering to help. So how does it work best when you're trying to delegate bits of the event management? Are there obvious things that you delegate out? And also maybe about what things should you be looking to standardize and use checklists for? And does that help with the delegating? So I know I've asked you about a million questions in that one, but it's so it's really
is it in terms of delegation if someone's planning an event and within their team, or delegation about I delegate my tasks?
Well, either, if you explain how you do it, because then that will probably help.
In terms of delegation within their team, I will start by looking at the team skill set and who is more logistical based, who is more creative, who is more of sales expertise, sponsorship. So I think I will put it into the categories of the event itself, which includes comms, communication, which includes marketing, which includes logistics. And then from there, I would say I would put people within each of the departments. In terms of how to really support with the delegation, it's all about systems. You know me, I love spreadsheets and checklists. So it's within each of those categories, have a checklist or have a project plan. So for example, you've delegated someone to work with the venue and liaison. Within that category, we need to have a different list of what you need to do. So and when's the deadline that the venue need to know for catering, for dietary requirements. Within each of those subsections, I will have a checklist for those team members, so they're aware of what they need to do. These are the key sides that the venue need. This is the logistics side. So this is about the operations, about printing, about suppliers. So each sections will have their own categories. I think systemizing that with checklists and project plans and timelines and spreadsheets are really important. And also I use Asana as well. So Asana is similar to do like Monday.com. So for my team, they each have different projects. So within that project, they have tasks that they need to do every day. So it's more of like a list, a accountability, like have you done that? Let's have a recap. And every week have a recap with my clients, as well as on a Monday and on a Friday. So every Monday with your team, you work out what are the priorities, what are the tasks that you need to do per week. And then you go from there. So I would say really think about your skill set of your team, and then from there you delegate the roles. But I would also say getting on board an event manager or someone like Hay Event to support you with the consultation side of things. If you may not have budget for us to step in to take the stress away from you, we step in at the initial stage of the consultation and help you structure the delegation. And then from there we can do weekly calls, 2-hour calls, say, the team getting on. What are some areas you're struggling with? How can we help you? So
that's really useful. And I think, have you done an event planning checklist? Is there something like that on your website that people can download?
So people go on my website, and it's a free one. And then I've got an event planning checklist. So if anything you need support and help, it's like, oh my God, we're planning an event for my team and I don't know where to start. I do have an event planning checklist and several ebooks that can help you.
Right. Okay. So you heard it there. You can, and I love what you said about like playing to people's skill sets. So I didn't really think about that, but the way that you break it down in terms of these are the different areas that you need to think about. It's the comms, the marketing, the logistics, the venue liaison, the suppliers, etc. And then you've got the standard checklist within those. That actually does make it a lot easier to maybe delegate out the appropriate areas to the right person, right? And then you're just kind of then overseeing and making sure that people are held accountable to it. What is there anything that you so on my list I've got here, delegate what and then delegate not. Is there anything that you absolutely would never delegate? I'm just curious as to do you always kind of like is there always one thing where you're like, that thing's really high risk, so I'm always going to do that myself? Or actually, does it not work like that? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Or does it vary by event, maybe, in terms of what the risk is?
I think it varies by event. There's some things that I wouldn't delegate to my event assistant because I want to take on that. Because obviously I've built a relationship with my client. But I would say definitely the venue side, given that my experience is based in venues. So I'm the one who takes that on, because that's quite important in terms of deadlines, floor plans, risk assessment. So I think for me, in terms of, like I said, I'm going back to my expertise and my skill set. I would tend not to delegate the venue aspects of it, because I'll be more efficient to get things done. I know what types of questions. I know how to approach the venue side of things. So I'll say, to answer your questions, I say normally I will take on the venue aspects of things and suppliers, because I've got connections and I'm able to negotiate, and I've built a relationship with my suppliers. So I will probably have the initial call with them and the contract stage, and then I can pass it over to my team. But not really much I would say I wouldn't delegate, but like, I'm going to go back to my team skill set, or your team skill set. This a priority, or there's something that in terms of client relations, maybe I will take that on board, and sponsorship and that relationship with partners, I think I will take that on board, given that I'm the founder of my business and I want to build that strong relationship with them. But other than that, the rest will go to my team. But it just depends on the event, case by case, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really interesting, sort of like figuring out what to delegate and whatnot, and that thought process. But obviously, as you say, because your kind of background and your core thing is venues, although obviously you see across the whole thing, I can understand why it makes sense for you to hang on to that. Okay, we're going to wrap up. We've literally just got a couple of minutes left, but if there's anybody currently that's maybe got an event that's coming up and they're panicking or whatever, what advice would you give to them if they've got an event coming up soon, like maybe in September, like maybe on the 12th of September, and they're panicking?
I would say definitely go onto my website and download the free event planning checklist. And if you're panicking, I offer free 30-minute consultation calls, so you can always jump on a call with me and say, Tinique, I need your help. What do I do? My team are struggling. How can I best prioritize the main tasks that I need to deliver an event in September, October, or November, or latter half of next year? And I feel like I said, I've got ebooks as well, so there's resources available to help you. But most importantly, follow me on LinkedIn and just DM me and say, Tinique, I need your help. I love voice notes, so just voice note me and say, Tinique, your advice on this. For example, I got from America who's coming over, who's never planned an event before, and I jumped on a call with her and I gave her supplier connections, and she said thank you so much.
Amazing.
Not from here. So
Yeah.
I'm like that. I'm happy to give. I've got a lots of suppliers that I can connect you with. And yeah, so just reach out to me, but definitely download my free event planning checklist, and that can help you structure and prioritize what you need to do for your event.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you heard it here first. You know, if you are panicking, if you've got an event coming up very soon and you're panicking, there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of free support that you can get from Tinique as well. So a free 30-minute consultation. There's all of the stuff on the website. What's your website, Tinique, again?
So it's www.hayevents, which is HAY events with the S at the end, .co.uk.
hayevents.co.uk. Perfect. So no need to be panicking, people. You can go into the bank holiday worry free, go and enjoy the carnival, go and shake a leg. Put a session in with Tinique for next week, and then you don't need to think about it all weekend.
100%.
All right then, Tinique, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been fun.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And
a nice start to my morning.
And anybody that's coming to the ERG Leader Summit on the 12th of September, you'll be able to you'll see Tinique there. You know, and I'm sure Tinique will be as cool as a cucumber, you know, just like a swan.
I love it. So I'll be like, hi.
Amazing. For those of you that have joined us live, thank you for listening. And if you're listening on the replay, thank you for taking some time out of your day. Have an amazing weekend. If you're in the UK and if you're in the London area, go and hit the carnival. See if you spot Tinique shaking a leg. Most definitely.
Say hello to me.
Say hi. All right, take care. Thanks so much, Tinique.
Thank you.
Thanks, people.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.